So, Namaskar learners, welcome to this first session on human behavior. I'm live here to answer your questions and to take up suggestions and feedbacks from you regarding this course. So, all those people who are with us, I would request you to put forward your questions, suggestions, feedbacks, either in the YouTube feed, which is running with this course session, or through the chat link on this team meeting. In case you are not able to join me today and you still have questions, what you could do is post these questions either in the forum or you could send in an email to me with a question. And depending on the availability of time that I have, I will be answering your questions. So then let's get started. And all those people who are linked with me, I'd request you to start putting up your questions and I'll try to answer these questions with whatever knowledge I have about this subject area. So uh, other than good afternoons, I don't have a question as such. And the first question is from G. Joshi. And Mr. Joshi has a question saying that where can I use this course in my career? Depending on what career path you have, you can have this application of course. Human behavior course was designed to help people understand the basics of behavior as such. The course addresses questions related to why people do what they do, how to understand behavior in general, and other aspects of human behavior, like how do people decide, what is memory, and why it is not a problem to forget things. So the course basically introduces people to themselves. Now, depending on what career path you have or where you work, you can use this course either to have a better social understanding of people around you or to understand your work environment or to understand how to cope and deal with work related problems or better understanding your family. So there are many applications. You have to find out where you can apply the knowledge from this course. So I hope that answered your question, Ms. Joshi. And Ankit Verma has a question related to whether they can change the course date. So I'm not aware of the fact that we can actually change the course date because this is decided by the central command office at IIT Madras, and they decide the date. But I'd suggest you to write to them and see if it works. Poonam has a question saying that what is the type of question which is coming in the exam? So mostly you would have multiple choice questions similar to what is given to your assignment. And if you do your assignments properly, and watch the videos and read a book which has been suggested in the course, you would be doing great with this course. So 1 hour a day would be sufficient for you to do wonders. But even few hours a week, you would score very good. So type of question then are multiple choice. So Ankit Verma, as I said, if you try to flood the same question and again, my answers won't change. You have to contact IIT Madras in command office, and maybe they'll help you with this. The final exam scenario would require you to visit our exam partners, TCS, and they will take your exams online. Exam questions would be multiple choice questions. And there's a date fixed for these exams. So you have to download your admit card, visit the exam center and finish your exam. That is the probable scenario of the exam. Shukesh Kumar has a question. Is this course is only for postgraduate level, or you can purchase it at undergraduate level also? I think there is no purchase option here, but yes, this course is basically designed for undergraduate level. Although it can be very well used for postgraduates also. And since this is an introductory course on human behavior, it is an undergraduate level course. But and understanding this course will give you insights into the human aspect. And building onto that, you can further take courses at the postgraduate level. So all those people who are wishing me a good afternoon to all of you. The structure of the final exam, Mr. Joshi, is again multiple choice questions. One answer is correct, and you have to find that answer. Good afternoon again to all those people who are joining me right now. So Lakshmi has a question. Do assignment questions help in the main exam? Yes, they do. Doing the assignment questions train you into understanding the subject matter of this course. And once you are clear with the subject matter, you will be able to solve final exam questions in a more efficient way. So yes, assignment questions are helpful that way. Another reason for completing the assignment is that some marks are also added from assignment questions. So if you complete the assignments, a part of your final score comes also from the assignment score. So another reason for you to complete the assignments. Okay, so Anju has a question. DAVV second year exam. Anju, I'm sorry, I don't know when this exam would be conducted. Thank you, Mr. Joshi. It's nice to hear good words about teaching. So, Ankit, one thing you can learn from this course is that putting something repeatedly is not going to be effective. So one way of effectively putting your question forward or your point forward is not using repetitions. Because when you use repetitions, after a while, people ignore you. So one good method of making yourself effective is using effective words, the choice of words. Reframe your question, put it once with effective words, and you'll be more effective. Also, you can use words in such a way that people are bound to reply to you. That is more effective than repetition, because what happens is there is something called the adaptation property of the brain. And through this adaptation property, the brain ignores redundant information or repetitive information. So if you want to be effective, you have to use more concise and clear words, effective words, and this is one practical application of this course. Thank you, Anjali. How many number of MCQs are there? In the final exam, there will be 50 MCQs. Each MCQ would have 2 marks, which amounts to 50 into 2, giving you 100. Paromita has a question. Sir, could you please suggest some good Indian international journals in this particular field? In psychology, there are a number of journals, Paromita, so you could, depending on which area you're working, you can select a journal. For example, if you're working in cognition, there is a journal of cognition. There is a journal of applied cognition. Of course, the American Psychological Association publishes journals like Psychological Bulletin and Psychological Research and Psychological Review. At Indian level, you have journals like Psychological Studies, and there is a journal which is coming out from the applied psychology field, which is called the Indian Journal of Applied Psychology, if I'm not wrong. So there are a number of journals. You need to first specify which area of psychology you are working in, and then maybe I can point out some good journals for you. No, Jyoti Rekha, zero assignment is not mandatory. Zero assignment was just for you to get familiar with this course. Zero assignment was sort of a test for you to assess where you are in terms of understanding human behavior before starting this course. So it is kind of a self-evaluation. Suresh Kumar, I'm a BTech student. Can I register in this course? Sure, Suresh. A number of BTech students from my institute have registered for this course. So why not you? Karthik has a question. What is the number of questions and time duration of exam? The number of questions is going to be 50. The time duration is going to be 3 hours. The questions are multiple choice. So, Promita, you have a question, and your area is language studies, dyslexia, and reading. Okay, great. So you want to publish in the area of language. I think there is a good journal on cognitive linguistics. So you can look at that. You can also look at the journal of cognitive psychology. You can look at advanced Applied Cognitive Psychology, Journal of Applied Cognitive Psychology. There are a number of journals. I'll tell you what, there is a website called sciencedirect.com, or you can go to PubMed NCBH, which is the website for national health in the US, NHS, and there you will find a list of journals. Also, you can visit vendors like Springer or Wiley, and they will provide you a list of journals which are available in psychology. But if you're looking for very specific journals, in India, I think University of Hyderabad publishes a journal on linguistics. So probably they have a center for linguistics or center for cognition. And one of my friends worked there. So I think they have a journal. If you're looking for an Indian journal, you can probably publish there. Does this core help HR professionals? Yes, it does. Help HR professional, Harish. HR professionals are all about human relations. It is about talking to humans and how to look at human resources. So I'd say it will be more than effective for HR professionals by learning how people behave and how you should take assessment of certain situations. This course should be a great help to HR professionals. So brain and language area, as I said, there are a lot of journals. One journal I just mentioned, which is coming out of Hyderabad. You can also look for publishing in psychological studies. There are journals specifically dedicated to brain and language studies. So depending on what work you're doing, that area will define the kind of journal that you're looking for. And I've given you a couple of pointers as to where to go and find it. Either you can go to the publisher website and they have a number of journals listed, or probably you can look at these databases, which is Science Direct or EBSCO, or probably you can look at American Psychological Association, and they have a list of journals where they publish research related to your field. So if Anu has a question saying that how many marks are important to pass? I think it should be 30%. That should be the limit. I'm not sure, but it is 30%. So 30% marks, out of which some marks will come from assignment. So that should be enough. Assignment 0 is not mandatory. The exams would be of 100 marks, 50 questions into 2. Harish, thank you. Mr. Joshi. Yes, it could be, Mr. Joshi. The course can be applicable to digital marketing and marketing. It teaches you, see, anywhere where you interact with humans, this course will be helpful. And all around you are human beings. So the wider net is probably every branch which deals with human interactions. This course will be helpful. Wherever a human comes in, whether he is interacting with a non-living thing like a system, or if he is interacting with another human, this course is going to be helpful, because what this course teaches you is what is the basis of human behavior, who we are, what we do, why we do what we do, and how to make things better for us by understanding the reasons and attributing the causes of our behavior. So anywhere with humans, this course is going to be effective. Saria has a question, sir. I bought all the 3 books that suggested in the website. One book is very familiar to the course. Remaining books are not familiar to the course. So, Sarvia, what would happen is that some of the books I have extensively used in designing the course, but you would see that there is a point after which I switch books. The simple reason is that no book is perfect. So when we teach, when we design course, we look at a number of books. There are times when you find that certain topics in the course is not available in any book. This is because over the years of teaching, I borrow certain concepts from research papers. My job is to read these research papers and make it easier for you to understand, right? And that is why a number of books are prescribed. And when you read a number of books, they are written with a different viewpoint and they are written in different ways. So if you read them, if you read all of them, it is very good. But if you read any of them, it will give you a base to this course. So as you said, so one of these books would be covering most of what has been taught, but some of them will not cover all of it. They'll cover some parts of it. So what happened in designing this course is that some points I took from some book and for some points I took from some other book. And there are things that is not available in any of these books. This comes from certain research papers. So yes, just reading one book, and if you find that if you bought all the three books, that it is good for you, you can read all three of them and then have a much better understanding of the course, right? And it's very good to hear that people are actually buying books, because nowadays people don't buy books. So if you're buying books and reading, I think you're doing a commendable job. Great. So that brings me to the end of the number of questions that I am having for today on this YouTube platform. Let me check if I have other questions on other platform. Now, for all those people who are with me today, what I'll suggest is ask your questions related to the course or something which is in your mind which you wish to ask and you think I'll be able to answer. So please ask those questions. I'm here for the next 30 minutes. So ask your questions. Let's talk. Whatever you feel that you didn't understand, or if you have in your mind certain things which you want to discuss, then I will be happy to answer those questions for you. So all those people who are there, who are connected with me today, go ahead and ask your questions. I'm still here for the next 30 minutes or so. So take this time, and if for some reason you don't get a chance to ask a question now, as I said, there are other ways of reaching me. You can post this question onto the forum. So we do weekly checks with the forum and I try to answer those questions. If in the forum itself, you don't find answers which satisfy you, then there is an email that I have. Go to my webpage, write an email to me, and I'll answer your questions directly. But then if you're writing a question directly to me, provide me some time, because I'm most of the time I'm engaged with something or the other. So I'll take some time and I'll answer your questions. Or there is going to be another session in the near future. Maybe you can join then and ask whatever questions you have. So just watch the videos and read books, either purchase them. If you cannot, then there is a lot of internet sources from where you can probably look at online books. So go through those, do the assignments properly, and by doing all of this, you will ensure a good marks in the final exam. But the best reward that you're going to get is not the final marks or the certificate. What you're going to get is knowledge about human beings. It is interesting. Why? Because we are humans and we interact with humans most of the time. So knowledge of how humans interact and what are those points which we should keep in mind while making these interactions or social exchange, as we call them, how to make our life better and get more gains out of people interaction. So all those things you can learn by going through this course. Right. So Pramita has another question. So could you please highlight on some of the very latest research areas, human psychology and language cognition, psycholinguistics? So language cognition, Pramita, I'm not very familiar. My area is not language, although I have a course on psychology of language. Neither psycholinguistics is my area, but there are certain new things. So since it is not my primary area, I don't sort of read very recent trends. But if you have a specific question in mind, or if you wish to discuss a specific question, then maybe you can write an email and then we can discuss it over an email. Give me some time to read about it. About human psychology, recent trends would be in terms of how memory is redefined. I was reading a very recent paper in which the organization of memory has been challenged. And so these authors, what they did was, this is in trends in cognitive sciences. And so this paper uh, sort of challenges the way memory organization has been thought of before in terms of how deeper meaning and surface meaning leads to memory, which is basically comparing the idea about model of memory and Craig and Lockhart's idea of memory, or the organization of memory in terms of the branch structure in STM. So those ideas have been changed, and this whole organization of memory thing has been challenged. So that is one recent area. Another recent area is in terms of spatial navigation, how people navigate in space. And so some important questions that I was very recently seeing is in terms of how the place cells in the hippocampus, they respond to this different kinds of navigation. So there is a lot of area, and there is a lot of recent questions which are looked into. Since I am concerned more with memory and attention, I look at research related to this field. If you want to know what we are doing presently in our lab, a student of mine is looking at something called working memory update. So updating a working memory, and how does that help in reading comprehension? So for both older people and people who are in the school, so younger people, so that kind of a question. Another student is looking at something called how prospective memory failures work. So, what kind of prospective memory failures exist and how that can be handled? That is another question that another student is looking at. So there are different questions that people in my lab is looking, or for myself, I'm looking at these different hippocampal region and how they help in navigation. So there are different things that we're looking at. So you have to be very specific if you want to discuss a particular area. Related to language psychology and psycholinguistics, since that's not my primary area, so I don't look at that. But still, as I said, if you are interested in discussing a certain point or a certain issue in this area, please feel free to write to me, and then maybe give me some time, I'll read, and then maybe we can discuss. Maybe is not getting, so Harish is the question, different types of maybe is not getting attention due to social media. We are going human behavior is going bad these days, like to know your views. Thank you. So different types of human behavior is now getting attention due to social media. Is human behavior going bad? Now, Harish, you have to be very specific what kind of behavior that you are describing through the social media. Of course, the overuse of social media is a problem. People have bought certain kind of actions which should be private into the public, and that is the bad. Probably, I think that is what you're referring to. So no behavior is bad. Every behavior has a time and a place, And if you perform a behavior out of context, it turns out to be bad, right? So, of course, certain actions are bad, and there is no doubt about it. But there is a philosophy behind what is being bad and what is being good. My take here is that the use of social media should be limited. The more you get involved in this idea of social media, because what is happening is people are being more exhibitionist. They are trying to put their personal things onto exhibition. And when you do that, you stand a chance of being evaluated by people who have no relation to what you're doing. Also, certain behaviors or certain actions that you do on the behavior on the social media, they are misread by people and then they comment on you, and then it creates a problem on its own. So what my suggestions would be, there should be limited use of social media. It's good that social media is there, but there should be limited use, and if you don't require it, it's better to avoid social media. That is what my suggestion is. But still, if you want to have this social media kind of a thing, you should, but you should be very limited. Not everything should be put there. Every behavior, as I described, has a time and a place to be performed. And if you do that, then those problems would not arise. Okay. Anjana has a question. Can we expect an advanced level of this course in coming days? Maybe we can think about an advanced human behavior course, but this advanced behavior course would be focusing on only certain areas, because when you're talking advanced, we'll take certain areas and maybe think about developing those areas. For example, we can think about a course on memory and attention or memory and language, and then just focus on those two areas. So maybe in future. Right now, I have very limited time available, but if I get time in future, I'll think of an advanced level course. Sangeeta has a question. Classroom is too long, going for 1 hour. It will be better if it is for half an hour. No, Sangeeta, there is a very good trick to it. The lectures have to be completed within 1 hour. We have this slot. What you could do is you can view a lecture for half an hour, break it off, and then go. Do whatever you wish to do and come back the next day and continue from where you have left in the first day. So you yourself can break a 1 hour lecture into several parts and view it. There is no compulsion as such to watch the whole video. For our purpose, since we are in the flow, we complete a topic or we complete a section in 1 hour. Sometimes it is more than 1 hour also, and we have to reduce it. But this is for the purpose of teaching. As a learner, give enough time, give enough space in training for you to get acquainted with these concepts, since these concepts are new to you. So one thing which you can probably do is break your lectures into several parts. Take 20 minutes of lecture every day, and then go do something else, and then come back again, and then continue. If you do it this way, two things are going to happen. First, you'll get enough time to mentally review what you have done in the last class. And also, after viewing a 20-minute lecture, you will get enough time to think what the lecture proposes or what the lecture says. That way, you will have a wonderful time learning. Mishlin has a question, and what is the question? In a busy schedule, if we read just assignment questions, can we pass the exam? Yes, by just doing the assignments, you will get the minimum marks, so you can pass the exam. But my suggestion would be that few hours, maybe 2 hours a week. I think most people can spend 2 hours a week on this course. So if you can, then do that. If you're not that busy, 2 hours a week, and you will do wonders with this course. Pramita, sir, could you please elaborate a little more on the first example that you gave regarding the working memory of young children and adults? Okay, what we're looking at, Pramita, is that how updation happens in working memory. So working memory is a several step process. And we are concerned with one of the intermediate process in working memory, which is related to the executive function. We are looking at how people update working memory. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're driving. Now, once you're driving, you need to keep track of what speed you're going or what gear you are probably riding your vehicle, right? Why you need to do this is that because different roads have different speed limits and different speeds are related to different gears. So you need to keep mentally updating yourself as to which gear is connected to what speed and what environmental cues are asking you to go at what speed. If you don't do that, you may get punished by a police officer for riding fast or riding slow, that kind of a thing. Now, what we are doing here is that we are taking this whole idea of updation of information in working memory, and we are trying to see how this updation helps in comprehension, reading comprehension, understanding a text passage, and along those lines is what we are working. Now, comprehension is static within the middle age group, but for early learners and in later life, this comprehension ability sort of gets hampered. That is where we are seeing if by changing the way we update information in working memory, if it helps comprehension in these two groups. That is probably a good example or a good definition of what we are doing here. So that's something which we are testing. Tejas has a question, and the question is: if a person is getting angry easily, just like short tempered, to show handle that person, how should we behave with them? If a person is getting too angry too quickly or is short tempered, a bad idea would be to get back at him. A good idea would be to find out all the reasons which is making him angry. Maybe it is not you. Find out what makes him angry. Find out all those circumstances around him which makes him angry. And if you can control some of these circumstances, for example, some people are short tempered because they are impulsive. They cannot wait for things. They want to do things quickly. And once things don't work quickly, they get easily frustrated and they vent it out through an anger. How to deal with people like this? Control the impulsiveness, explain them that being impulsive is not going to work, or you have to use your own methods, right? So understanding why this anger is coming, the reason behind that anger is coming, maybe it is not because of any action that you have done. It is to do with himself. Talk to him, make him understand, and make him realize that where this anger is and what kind of problems this anger can create. If you can do that, or if you can find out the reason behind it, you will be handling this person better. And even the person himself will understand the reasons behind his being angry. And that way you will help him out. So that could be one application of this course. So Media EdTech has a question: why human brain is different compared to other animals like dog, cats, etc. One probable reason is the development of something called the neocortex. Now the brains of dogs and cats are still primitive because they don't have this extensive region of the brain which is called the neocortex or the new brain. What is this new brain? As we progressed from the animals towards humans, we not only started walking, but we started using language to talk and communicate. You'll be surprised to know that the human brain has no dedicated region for language, neither for reading nor for speaking, because monkeys and animals don't talk. They convey and communicate certain messages at the best. So when people started gathering together, the need for exchanging more ideas developed, and so the idea of language came up. Now, as the idea of language came up, some area of the brain needed to be hacked and used for development of language and other newer skills. For that very purpose, the brain developed, a new brain developed, which was efficient in doing exactly these kind of things. And human beings became more intelligent than their counterparts who are dogs, cats, and the monkeys. This is the primary difference between the human brain, the intelligence that it has, and the superior neocortex that it has from the lower animals who don't have this kind of a cortex or this kind of a region of the brain and this kind of intelligence. So does metacognition play a role in what you explain in terms of working memory updation? Uh, Metacognition may play a role. We're not testing metacognition per se, but I think metacognition would play a role. Definitely, it's going to play a role in this updation. But since we're not testing this idea of metacognition, so I can at the best reply you at a theoretical level. Maybe we can add this feature in our research, but it's too late because the student is going to submit the thesis. So we don't have that much time to add, but your guess is probably right. Metacognition definitely is going to play a role in updation because there has to be a control process which needs to tell that I need to update, and that's in that way that metacognition can or will definitely play a role in updation. But in this thesis, we are not looking at that. So other people who have joined with me, please ask their questions. We still have around 10 to 15 minutes left for this session. So it's a fruitful session till now. All those people who are here, thank you very much for joining me and asking your questions and getting your doubts cleared. For other people who are joining us now or who are still silent till now, please ask your questions if you have some, or if you want to ask these questions later on, please go ahead and do that. Now, media Editech has a question. Is it possible to hack someone's brain? I really don't know. And what do you mean by being hacked? Control someone? Yes, it is possible to some level to control people, but hacking is, my guess, is not possible. The reason being that brain softwares don't work like computer softwares. And so the wonderful thing is that most AI softwares don't work for the simple reason being that AI softwares use something called predictive method of solving problems. But brains don't do prediction. Brains don't follow written rules or don't follow stochastic processes in solving problems. Brain uses the best possible or the most available option to solve a problem, and that is why it does things which these well-taught rules of the AI systems don't work, right? So at times we think why the brain is doing something because brain don't follow rules which we think should be followed. So it uses something called descriptive rules rather than prescriptive rules. And that is one reason why hacking the brain is or should be difficult. Tejas has a question. Say if a person is frustrated and not able to talk, how to communicate with them? Not able to talk as in lost the ability to talk, or is he not willing to talk? Find out why he's not willing to talk. There are subtle cues. Somebody, when he's angry from you, he gives you cues why he's angry. All you need to do is observe. If you observe enough, you'll find out through his actions, through his behaviors, he'll give you clues. What is that reason which is making him angry? So probably you need to observe more rather than taking actions. What most people tend to do is solve problems. So rather than being a problem solver, sometimes it is a good idea to sort of observe what the problem is all about, and maybe sometimes that is the solution. So maybe use that approach. And loss of ability. So if somebody is not able to talk in terms of the loss of ability, as in he cannot talk, again the same method applies. Find out uh, what is happening around him, and maybe that gives you an idea of because it's difficult to read people's brain. So by just observing his behavior, the person who's showing this behavior, and constantly noting certain repetitive patterns that he does, will give you a good idea of why he's doing what he's doing. And maybe that, if you can observe those, you can better communicate. So I think that that should be a good idea and a good way to solve this problem. Okay, so any other questions if you have, please ask those questions. Okay, so Pramita, you want me to express my views in terms of limitations and potentials of AI in mimicking human brain. So the problem is that AIs are designed by humans. One problem is that AIs are designed by humans. No matter how much you say that they are self-learning system, they are bound by rules which are written by human beings. The problem with human brains is that human brains are never made by humans as such, and so human brains make rational and irrational choices based on what information it is available to it. AIs follow certain rules. They also follow certain standards of solving problems. Human brains don't do that. So one uh, benefit of using AI is that certain repetitive jobs can be given to these AI systems, and that will help humans. One limitation of using AI is that they will be very predictive. They will be very I'd say they won't be full of surprises. They'll give you very predictive answers, and that will lose the beauty itself. Life is all about changes, life is all about variations. And with AI systems, no matter how they say that I'll give you a varied answer, look at what is happening with ChatGPT or Google Gemini. Most of them are writing answers for you, but where do they write answers? They search their databases for answers, and from there they do some combination and give you an answer. This is where we can beat them. Human beings can think of answers which is never written anywhere, and that is how your masterpieces and master strokes come about, right? So things which people never thought, human brains never thought, somebody thought about that and came up with a solution. AIs just can't do that. The simple reason is that if I've never invented a rule for solving something, how can an AI invent a rule like that? It can try, but it can try within the limits of the rules given to it. And this is one of the disadvantages of an AI. Shall we discuss the problem, or we should change the talk to another topic? Discuss the problem. It's much better, because when you discuss the problem, what happens is initially there will be a phase of resistance. And once this phase of resistance will go away, initially you will find a lot of resistance. But once you pass this resistance stage, there will be a stage when uh, the person will be more acceptable and likely to discuss problems with you. So the best method will be discuss, but you should know when to stop. There'll be a phase when this other person will stop responding. You should stop there and then continue from the point that you're stopping in a separate session. So if you want to solve this problem, discussion should be the only method of doing it. Changing to another topic is not going to work. Sir, kindly explain the potential range of physical stimuli that each species can detect and respond to. Okay, Saroj, so different species have different detection sensitivities. Let's say visual, for example, human beings cannot see below the visible range, which is 400 nanometer, below the 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer, that is the visible range. But there are certain species which can see below that. For example, dogs can watch certain motions below this range, or bats can hear above the 20,000 hertz and below the 20 hertz. So giving you a list is difficult at this point of time, since we're doing a one-to-one conversation here and I don't have some kind of a data with this. But then there are species which can outperform humans in terms of their sensitivity to different stimuli. Media, can we control the computer using thought process? There is a lot of work. Dear friend, go search the internet. They have devised ways of computers being controlled by human thought. I don't know how much does that work, but you would, if you find scientific journals, or if you're interested in this, you'll find a lot of work which is being carried out around the world in terms of controlling computers through human thought. So my best wishes, go find, you'll find a lot of research. Right then, so we are towards the end of this session, and I thank you all for putting your wonderful questions to me, and giving me this opportunity to answer your questions. For those people who couldn't ask a question in this session, I welcome you to join with me in the next session, which is happening very soon. For today's session, I thank you all. Goodbye from this MOOC studio and Namaskar.